kids hibernating. But I think if we don't get a second round of cuts from the governor, I think then we have to go back and just hit the town officials and say, okay, we're going to back off on a few of these things.
We can have those discussions. Let me also say something about classroom temperature. The more aggressive actions we're taking about heating buildings is more in the evening. I don't think I shouldn't say I don't think, we have not changed one iota the temperature settings in the classrooms throughout this entire budget freeze or financial crisis. Psychologically, we talk about it a lot.
I was going to say, I think it's a cycle. Kids are reading it.
And we've actually had, until this week, a fairly mild fall.
Yeah, we have.
So I can say that with 100% assurance that we have not changed the thermostats during the day.
Great. Any other questions for Carl on the 2009 budget update?
I probably want to add here, would be a good point to add, is on the administrative report. If you just take a look at that. We started, the administrative council and I have started to think about the school calendar. And it seems every year that we're doing this sooner and sooner, but we talked, that is the administrative council talked last week about perhaps altering the school calendar over the upcoming December break. As you know, our last day for school is Tuesday, I think it's the 23rd of December, and we're not coming back until Monday, January 5th. Normally we would come back on the 2nd of January, which in this case falls on a Friday.
Right.
So we're actually closed on that day. One of the considerations, and it's been rejected because it's simply too soon, would have been to close school the last day on Friday the 19th, and therefore achieve further non-use of the buildings on Monday and Tuesday, the 22nd and 23rd.
So they have a full purposes. Oh, so it's a full day off. So it's just the 2-day school week that week.
Right now, it's scheduled as a 2. So we rejected that, and we're following the approved calendar. However, another suggestion has been for this year, would be to decrease the student year from 182 days to the state minimum of 180 days. What that possibly achieves savings with busing to fewer days, and with some staffing changes. It would not affect teachers, because teachers by contract, at least the current contract, 183 days.
Okay.
So if this, and I will be coming back with I'm not putting this out as a recommendation tonight, but I want the committee to know the kind of thinking that the administrative team is going through as part of this budget FY09 freeze if things get worse. But this would not be a kind of decision we could make in February. I'd like to make it now, and what it would do then is we would eliminate all the other remaining early release days: February, March, April, and May. But between now and the end of the school year, we still have to have 2 teacher days, and that would be we'd combine the professional development on the early release days would occur on these 2 full days. So teachers would be expected to work, students would not be there. So it might achieve some additional savings with transportation, and perhaps with paraprofessional staffing, because their contractor work year is tied to the student year. And then going forward to next year, Labor Day is about as late as it can be. And I'd like to put out on the table radically changing for North Reading the school year, perhaps with starting school before Labor Day, and then doing something with perhaps a longer December-January break, perhaps looking at February and April, to find ways to close the buildings and perhaps save on on heat and utilities.
So by starting, say, if we started, say, 3 days before Labor Day, then that's maybe 3 days you add on to the December, January vacation vacation time, so that's 3 more days the building to close in the middle of the winter.
Or on the December, some combination of that.
Right.
Just one committee member's perspective. Does the school committee have to approve that? We have to
You would
approve
have
that
to approve the
calendar.
calendar.
So I'll keep an open mind, but it better be a compelling
Savings.
reasons for making that kind of a change, that's all.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
So but as far as changing the school calendar for this year, I'd like to come back the next meeting and have a very formal recommendation on it with projected savings and determine whether we're gonna do that this year.
I guess the issue on that again is, if there's no further budget cuts from the governor, which we probably won't know about until January at the earliest, it's difficult to vote on those kinds of things, not knowing what is coming down the pike, I guess.
Again, I would repeat that, and there may not be further reductions. I am extremely concerned about perhaps the inability of meeting certain expenses, particularly in special education, given even the current situation.
Right.
Think of it as defensive budget.
I know.
It's a lot easier to do that over 6 or 7 months than it is over a couple of months too, so.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing on staffing and nothing on bids and donations. Subcommittee updates. I can give a quick update on the athletics subcommittee. I can just say there's progress being made on the turf field issue, which we've discussed before and which I've discussed before, and I think Dr. Troughton and Mr. Venezzi have talked about, with a goal of not using town funds, not using tax money, and I think there's a lot of progress being made in that area. And I think hopefully someone somewhere will have some news in the next weeks or months that they can officially announce, but everything's been positive in that area, and the athletic subcommittee's been spending a good deal of time on that. Rita Mullen and Mr. Johnson, our athletic director, he's been deeply involved in that. And that was the main area of discussion at our, in fact, I think it was the only key area of discussion at our athletic subcommittee meeting. Youth at Risk, Mrs. Bach isn't here. David, were you at that meeting, or Youth at Risk? Is there anything you want to?
No, we spent our time talking about the forum that was held at the high school on the 10th.
Okay.
And the upcoming one, and just the concerted effort to really take on this issue of increased teenage drinking, and what the schools, what the parents, what the police department, the community can do. Jenny O'Leary, who is the town's youth service director, is also part of those discussions as well.
And policy subcommittee, do we have anything in addition to the religious?
No, as I said, that took up our last 2 meetings.
Okay. And finance planning team, that's just ongoing discussion over the status of this year's budget and this year's funds and what we're going to do next year. There's really nothing more to discuss, but that's the ongoing discussion there. And then fiscal advisory committee, I wasn't able to make the last meeting. I know they had a few recommendations that they voted on that they're going to bring to the selectmen. They did, 2 members made a strong proposal to the selectmen for a 2-tiered tax rate, and the selectmen voted to keep a single tax rate by a vote of 3-1. And there were also a number of items that they had asked me for answers on, and I had spoken to Carl on a few of them in terms of bus stops and a few other items, and I got back to them in writing with answers to those questions. And that's, I think that sums that up. Strategic planning update, nothing tonight, and administrative reports, we just talked about. The main one was possible recommendations to change the school calendar. And anything you want to highlight in correspondence, David, or? Okay. Our next meeting is December 8th. I'll wear my parka, And then the December 22nd is our meeting after that, be a festive meeting, I would assume. At this time, I'll entertain a motion for an executive session for the purposes of collective bargaining and litigation, and we will return to open session, possibly to vote on a contract and then to adjourn. Have a motion, please?
So
Move to-
moved. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, move to enter executive session for the purpose of collective bargaining litigation, and to return to open session for the purpose of voting on the collective bargaining agreement.
Have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Venezia? Aye. Ms. Bowers?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Maybe just, the collective bargaining is the North Reading Administrative
Oh,
Association, includes the two assistant principals
Right.
and Director of Pupil Personnel Services and Director of Curriculum.
Okay. Thank you.